Well, it's July 19th, 2018. This is the Twitter account here showing for Kevin Shipp. He's a former CIA official. He just posted this message saying, after my speech exposing Hillary Clinton's connection to the shadow government, both of our cell phones have been bugged, confirmed by an expert. Our CCTVs remotely shut down, our internet accounts hacked, and we had an intruder at 6 a.m. yesterday. This is starting to get fun, he says, following up saying these people are so narcissistic. They are stupid. The more that they harass me and my wife, the more determined I get to expose them. Their only power is fear and intimidation. I became immune to that when I exposed the state secrets privilege. We are just ramping up our efforts. Finally, he said, the only this has kept me safe since I came out in 2012, blasting out what they do full bore in public. They keep doing it. I keep publicizing it. That's the dance. It is the only way to handle them. Staying out in the open. He's saying basically play by their rules, keep quiet. I imagine he means, and you are done. So Kevin Shipp has been, I guess, whistleblower against the CIA. He's made he's written several books trying to expose his experience with the military, some of the things that happened to him during his time with the CIA. More recently, spoken out against Clinton. I think the speech that he's talking about, he's referring to this video. I think that this is the most recent speech, and he does directly reference Clinton. It's titled, I think you can find it on YouTube. Kevin Shipp exposes Clinton connections to the shadow government. So I have yet to watch that full lecture. It's a 2.5-hour lecture. It's just posted a few days ago. I just saw this message from Kevin Shipp recently, so I'll go back, I guess, and watch that lecture. I guess he thinks that that is one of the reasons that he's been a target lately. Going a little bit further, just looking at, I guess, some other statements also from Kevin Shipp, the same ex-CIA officer, what he'd recently had to say about Clinton. The Clintons, again, he's been a whistleblower against the military and the deep state, or what he calls the shadow government in general, for a while. More recently, focusing on the Clintons. I'm going to quickly look at two articles. The first says Clinton charity fraud is the biggest scandal in U.S. history, according to Kevin Shipp. I do have this article from USA Watchdog originally posted that. I have those links and the link to that lecture, which I believe is the lecture that Shipp was talking about, in the video description if you want to look yourself. Just to pull a few highlights from this article, though, they say former CIA officer and whistleblower Kevin Shipp says that the reason for all the crime and treason at the FBI and DOJ all boils down to one thing: the Clinton so-called charity, the Clinton Foundation. Shipp explains that Hillary Clinton was running and is running a global financial crime syndicate. She was using these secret servers to conduct Clinton financial money laundering business. The shocking thing about that is all the former directors of the CIA that have come out to support her, from Clapper to Brennan. This article was written a few months ago. Of course, Brennan has basically been calling openly for a military coup against the current president, against President Trump. They were supporting her. They've been supporting her since the election. Also, Robert Gates, others continue to support Clinton. They make up this crime syndicate, according to Kevin Shipp. Comey also protecting it, he says. Lynch was also protecting it. Wiseman protecting it. And that's the big why, according to Kevin Shipp. He says, what has she got on these people? Are they financial ties? They've got to be aware of this, especially the counterintelligence units. We know it was hacked into by foreign intelligence services because it was just hanging out there. Hillary Clinton was running a secret server outside the Department of State for the purposes of laundering money through the criminal Clinton Foundation. There's a little bit more to that. Again, I have the article linked in the description. This is an even more recent one, just posted this week, right around the time of this most of the most recent speech given by Kevin Shipp that he thinks, I guess, may have made him a target. He says that he's been bugged, hacked, and an intruder was sent after him after the speech that I've linked, and this recent article just from July 15th reads, former CIA officer and whistleblower Kevin Shipp says what Hillary Clinton did with her charity and Uranium One as well, while she was Secretary of State, was a crime for the history books. Shipp explains Hillary Clinton used this to launder money in foreign banks, so it wasn't subject to U.S. laws, congressional subpoenas, or Freedom of Information Act demands for the evidence. This was done to launder this money globally into the Clinton Foundation so the U.S. government could not examine it all. The article goes on to say Special Prosecutor Robert Mueller was the head of the FBI while the Uranium One deal was being done by Clinton and the Russians. 1/5 of the U.S. uranium's production was bought by the Russians in a deal Clinton pushed and approved. The Clinton Foundation then received more than $140 million from some of the same Russian players who were involved with Uranium One. Why didn't Mueller stop that deal? Shipp asks. Shipp says of this, Mueller is either a complete moron in his opinion, which he thinks that he's not, Mueller is not dumb enough, according to Shipp, to overlook the biggest counterterrorism cases in U.S. history. It involved Hillary Clinton, the Clinton Foundation, Uranium One, and of course the destruction of all the emails and evidence and her secret server, and on and on and on it goes. And Mueller, ignored it all. How did she get away with this obvious crime? Shipp asked. The most bizarre thing is the people who protected her. Again, making a similar point to the last article, the wide range of people protecting her from clear felonious activity and violations of the Espionage Act. James Clapper, Director of National Intelligence, was protecting her and leaking things to the media and lying. You had John Brennan, Director of the CIA, protecting her by starting a false investigation on Trump and stirring things up with this false, unverified dossier. Brennan, again, even more recently, just calling for a straight-out military coup against Trump. You had James Comey, director of the FBI, also protecting Clinton. Then you had Peter Strzok protecting her, and now it appears the United Kingdom was using NSA information to target Donald Trump and protect Hillary Clinton. You have to ask yourself, what kind of power or connections does this woman have to get all of these members of the deep state, shadow government, to risk their own criminal penalties to protect her and try to get her elected? That is the shadow government. That is what the deep state is. That is what is so chilling about this whole thing, says Kevin Shipp. This is deep. This is dark. This is as dark as it gets, and this is the biggest espionage case involving government officials in the history of this country. Shipp also points out this time that it will not be business as usual for the deep state and the shadow government. He says they are going to be brought to justice. That's what Shipp thinks is going to be happening. He says that indictments are coming because of Donald Trump coming into the White House from the outside. Trump cannot be bribed. That's, I guess, what his opinion was that he was giving in this one interview that he gave, and he did have this recent speech. I guess it's worth looking at. I do have a link in the description again if you want to take a look yourself. I have the article links as well. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about all this. I have a link back to Kevin Shipp's Twitter to follow for more updates. I'd like to know in particular if he's going to give any more information regarding the intruder that was sent after him. He says 6 a.m. where they were staying after having given this speech. They had an intruder at 6 a.m. sometime yesterday. So I'd like to know more about that. I will follow up. I'll look more into it. Another reminder, I am on patreon.com. Just a reminder again, patreon.com/realityreader. Thanks to everybody that donates over there. A few dollars even makes a huge difference. Patreon.com/realityreader. You can also donate through PayPal if you prefer to my email, chris317@rogers.com. I have that written out in the description, the Patreon link, the links to everything else. Take a look, leave a comment. I'll follow up soon. Thanks again.